everybody, it's Hump Day Wednesday, and guess what? Welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Yes, today, this Wednesday, we are going to examine the most explosive legal battles shaking up the entertainment industry. And when I say our docket is full tonight, it is packed with a lot of interesting stories that I can't wait to break down with my legal beagles for you to understand everything that's going on with each and every one of our celebrities in trouble with the law. Tonight, the question, though, is does fame shield the guilty or magnify their flaws? Does wealth buy justice or does it put you under an even harsher spotlight? All right, we're going to dive into 5 headline grabbing cases. First up, Sean Diddy Combs faces a new lawsuit under the Adult Survivors Act, raising questions about the balance between justice and opportunism. Drake battles Universal Music Group over his own lyrics, a fight that could redefine artistic ownership in the music industry. We're going to break that down. Anthony Edwards, NBA's All-Star, leaked texts ignite debate about privacy, ethics, and how personal matters can impact public figures. Oh boy, Rihanna, where is she at? A$AP Rocky's decision not to testify in his shooting trial challenges the boundaries of legal strategy versus public perception. And last but not least, Young Thug's case sparks legislative changes around the use of rap lyrics as criminal evidence. Now, these aren't just stories about celebrities. They touch on issues that affects us as well. Privacy rights, free speech, ownership, as well as the influence of public opinion on justice. Let's break it down, challenge the norms, and most importantly, decide where we stand on each and every issue. Court is now in. Before we go, I'm about to throw court in session. Let me welcome the legal beagles that are joining me tonight. As always, and lucky to have her, that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Glad to be back, Your Honor. Happy Monday, or whatever day it is.
It's Wednesday, counselor. All right, joining Counselor Turner is humorist at law, Sean Carter. We couldn't do this show without you. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Yeah, you did. You did Friday. Shame on you.
That was your choice, sir. And last, but definitely not least, shit they didn't teach me in law school, author Jason Weiss. Counselor, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you, Your Honor. So excited to be here.
All right, everybody. Court is what? In session. All right. Woo! It's going down. Sean Diddy Combs faces fresh allegations of sexual assault from an anonymous accuser filed under the New York's Adult Survivors Act. This follows a series of legal troubles raising critical questions. Is this a long overdue reckoning for P. Diddy, or is this another opportunistic attack or legal targeting? All right, we're going to throw to you, Shatan, and I want you to break down to me exactly what makes the Adult Survivors Act such a pivotal law in a cases like this. And also, I know, Jason, you have some intel on everything and how this went down. I want you two to bring us up to speed so we'll know what this new accusation is, who brought the accusation, and how he's using the Adult Survivors Act to do that.
Well, let's unpack this because I think that some of the stuff that's been reported in the media is conflating some things that aren't necessarily related. So First of all, who this person is, we do not know. They filed this under John Doe, which everybody knows is the universal name for I'm not ready to reveal who I am. And so I'm just going to.
But we know that this is a male, a man.
No, it's a male. Yes, it's a male.
Okay.
Says that he was a minor at the time. But one of the interesting things about what the judicial system allows, though, is everybody knows he's making these allegations against Diddy, but he does not have to reveal who he is. So that's something that people think is a little bit unfair, right? Because if the allegations prove not to be true, then the defendant has had their name smeared and the plaintiff has remained anonymous. Now, in this case, though, we are talking about Diddy, and I don't think that that's the risk here, given how much we've seen. So the Adult Survivors Act, it was passed by the New York State governor to recognize that even if you are over 18, that being a victim of sexual assault is uniquely traumatic. And you may not be comfortable coming forward within the normal statute of limitations period. And so it expands the time period which people can complain, and it's designed to empower victims and survivors. So that's what the Adult Survivors Act is about. This case, actually, if true, the allegations didn't occur that long ago. They occurred 2 years ago. And so at the time, this young man is saying that he was a minor. He was 17 when this happened. And so now he's 19, but he would still be within the statute of limitations period for sexual assault standardly. But the Adult Survivors Act has gotten a lot of press because some of these Diddy victims, like 2 women that were also came forward last week indicating that they were kicking it in the 80s and the 90s and that they were also assaulted by him. But for the Adult Survivors Act, they would not have a remedy under civil law because, or under any law, unless they had the Adult Survivors Act, because it would have been precluded by statute of limitations. And now that's an opening for them.
Got it. All right. Attorney Weiss, bring us up to speed exactly what the claims are and what he said, what happened and how it went down.
So it's a young musician at the time claims that P Diddy had an associate invite him to a party that was going on, an exclusive A-list birthday party at a private home where he met P Diddy. And, P did it, supplied him with a drink that was laced with something, and kept promising him that, look, I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to make you a star, and I'm going to get you a recording contract. Well, he's not a star yet, but if he takes the name John Doe off, maybe he'll become a star then. So he was incapacitated by the drugs and the drink and everything else, and he was forcefully coerced into performing oral sex before he was
don't say the R. Right,
penetrated. Before he was penetrated without consent or permission, and we'll leave it at that. Against
now,
his
was he also, according to the court documents, he was also forced to perform oral sex, correct?
Yep, that's what I said. Performed oral sex before he was taken advantage of without his consent, and we'll leave it at that. And he said that because of P. Diddy's notoriety, entourage, people that knew him, he was afraid to come out and afraid to do anything. So, look, he's seeking compensatory damages for physical injuries, emotional distress, psychological harm, anxiety, humiliation, physical pain. I mean, the whole gambit. He's asking for everything. And, it's one of these stories that it sounds like, look, someone invited and he used his sway and took advantage.
Well, Attorney Carter, all the stories are the same.
Right.
Okay, so tell me, Attorney Carter, if you're the defense team, what are you thinking right now? What are you saying to your client? What are you thinking? What should their positioning be? Because can't this civil lawsuit turn criminal if the kid was underage, and then not only was he underage, but he was the blank word that we can't say on YouTube. And, he's not holding back. He's saying both oral and penetration.
Right.
Yep.
Well, no, and here's the thing is that remember, there is a criminal case already going against Diddy for this same type of thing. So guess who's going to be calling John Doe? The FBI. And the FBI is going to want to say, hey, if this is stuff, we want to use this in our criminal trial. And this is where it's going to be interesting, because obviously if he's telling the truth, that helps their case. If he's not telling the truth, that's a problem. If you lie to the FBI, that's a crime in and of itself.
Right, of itself.
You go to jail for that, and a lot of people have. They don't play. And so it's kind of an interesting thing here where this young man, if he's truly a victim, it's a horrible thing, and we should say that all these are allegations. It's a horrible thing, but if he's not, if he's just trying to make a cash grab here, he might find himself grabbing something else
on the other side
because you could get into some serious trouble here.
Hold on there, Attorney Turner, because I want to ask you this. How much influence do multiple allegations have on a case, even without concrete evidence, and especially in the eye of public opinion?
Well, as we've shown on this show, it makes you look guilty. Yeah, we were even talking about at one point, like just having his picture up and putting guilty over it, because we were all persuaded by the volume of allegations against him that it would be implausible to think that any of them weren't true, because to your point, they're very similar in nature and there are just so many of them. I think this one is particularly interesting to me because this young man has multiple reasons to be able to show that he was the victim of sexual assault, right? Because his incapacity could be a function of the fact that he was drugged, could be a function of the fact that he was given alcohol. Now, remind you, he's a minor. In all 50 states, to be over 21 in order to drink alcohol. And so anybody who gave a minor alcohol broke the law, right? The other thing is that being under the age of majority might also be an allegation to say that he lacked capacity. So this, because he was a minor at the time, and you don't have to seek refuge under the Adult Survivors Act. It's within the statute of limitations for sexual assault on its own. This makes this one a particularly interesting one for Diddy, and it might be one that Busby tries to build his entire strategy
around. Because it's the most damaging.
It is.
It's the most damaging. You have so many moving factors. You have underage, you have alcohol, you have drugs, and then you have physical and mental abuse, all on a minor.
And you have recent. That's the thing. These aren't things that happened.
Right.
This is recent. This is 2022. I know we've all, in the past 3 years forgotten tons of things, but 3 years as opposed to 18 years, 20 years, 12 years. It's a lot more, it's a lot more damning to him. It really is.
Also, well, it's a double-edged sword.
One thing I was going to say, like to Attorney Weiss's point, the reason the temporal proximity is important isn't just because you fall under regular statute of limitations, but that makes sense too. It's because you don't have the witness credibility issue that you have in some of the cases.
Right, 20 years ago.
Right.
But you also, on the other side, and this is where if I was Diddy's lawyer, I'd be saying, okay, let's examine this one closely, because there are people who will remember what happened, who was there, and he's going to, people are going to expect a lot clearer story from this plaintiff than from the other plaintiffs when it happened 20 years ago. Who knows who else was there? What he's going to need to say what the carpets look like,
how
he's
able to know? He's 17 years old. He says that there were paid sex workers in the room. He knew I guess he knew that, but how is he going to really know the people's name?
But P. Diddy might not know the people's names, but look, I mean, it doesn't matter. Hey, look, I'm of age. Okay, you lied. It's still statutory rape. It doesn't. It's still.
This also sounds like grooming.
Oh no, it's horrible. And if this is true, it is absolutely the worst thing we've seen.
A friend recruited him in, who had been obviously in contact with the gentleman, recruited him in and brought him to a party, and Diddy was like, okay, he clearly was sent, what appears to be allegedly sent to bring the young man. All right, everybody, this is an interesting one. Also, I want to let all our algoritmers know that this Friday, we're going to be doing a special show with attorney Simone Redwine and FBI agent Quentin Williams. FBI agent turned attorney, and we're going to break down this entire case up to this new accusation today on Friday's show. You don't want to miss this. Be sure to set your notifications. We're going to break down the entire case from inception with Cassie all the way to this young man, and we're going to talk about what the defense is going to be doing their job as well as what the prosecution should be doing, which is the state, in order to get either him off or convicted. You don't want to miss Friday's show, everybody. I know it's Valentine's Day, but if nothing else, be sure to watch it in the rerun. It's going to be a good one because we got some inside information that we would like to share with everyone right here on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. All right, listen up, everybody. Those likes aren't liking. Please, pretty please. These lawyers give their time every week to bring you guys the hottest stories in breaking down the law. Can you please hit that like button? Also, while you're at it, can you hit that subscribe button? If you're already subscribed, please hit the share button and invite some friends over, because we enjoy teaching you the law off the backs of these celebrities who are always in trouble. Like I said, turn on your notifications. We're doing a special edition of Celebrity Court on this Friday with attorney Simone Redwine and former FBI agent Quentin Williams. You don't want to miss that. And as always, continue to jump down into the comments like Daphne did. Daphne said, Diddy is a sick freak. I hope he gets life. Shaitan and her fans, Abby NYC, the MM family, says, hey, Shaitan.
Hey, y'all.
Takara Tucker, thank you, beautiful. Double tap all the buttons, everybody. And Sir Benjamin, can't wait. Come on Friday. Let's keep it moving. Who else do we have on the docket? Well, you know exactly who else is on the docket. Next up, they call him a crybaby. We call him Drake. Drake is locked in a legal battle with Universal Music Group over the rights to his own lyrics. A cease and desist order threatens his creative freedom. Is this just a contractual dispute, or does it expose a deeper issue about who really owns the artist's voice? I think what we wanted to cover as it relates to this case was him suing Universal Music Group for defamation. Where they do that at? Okay, I'm gonna throw to you, Jason, on this one. Where they do that at?
So, it's actually, he issued a statement at Universal Music Group right before Kendrick Lamar got on stage, and basically, he's making the statement that Universal is masquerading as a champion of artistic freedom by calling its actions merely entertainment, but there's nothing entertaining, are some of the things. And he's doing. Yep. I gotta watch my mouth. I gotta. So I'm gonna do that. He is sued, and again, he's suing his label. You're suing the hand that feeds you. It makes absolutely no sense. You want to have beef with competing artists, and you want to do great, no problem. It makes for great drama. It makes for great stuff. But you're suing your label, and this is the label that produces, that gets your stuff out there. Now, Attorney Carter and I were talking before the show started about various different levels of who owns your performance rights.
Right, that's what I want to know. Don't you surrender? I mean, I would think when you sign with the label, right, don't you inherently surrender ownership of your creative works in some form or fashion?
So the answer, the general answer is yes, right? You do it. But if you're a big name like Drake or Kendrick Lamar or Snoop, you have the right to say, I'm not going to give away most of my stuff. I want to keep it. I want a bigger percentage. And you could do that. But if you're an up and coming artist, you're not going to have that right. The other thing is there's also two things. One is your production, and the other one is
composition.
Thank you. Production and composition. So you could own a piece of each, and the label is also going to own a piece of each. So when you sign these 360 deals, which were made famous in the 1990s by an attorney down here in South Florida named Mark Stallman, he was probably the first one to do a 360 deal. He made it so that it was all inclusive, right? Everything you had was given up for a payday, for a piece of something. But you didn't negotiate. You could say, I recorded, it's on my nickel, it's on my dime, I'm keeping this. You paid for everything, you get it all. You paid for it as an advance, I get to keep some. So it's all negotiations. And you would think that by the time Drake gets here and does all of this, that he's going to own most of his stuff.
But still, Attorney Turner, you're our resident hip hop R&B specialist over there. Does this? I think I agree with like Janet Hunter. Drake is in his feelings. Although Abby NYC, the MM family said, "Yep, I'll sue them too." SL said, "I'm convinced he's a Karen." What are your thoughts, Attorney Turner? Because I thought that this is where you're supposed to get it all out on the vinyl, in the booth, talking crap about each other. Is he belly aching? Is he whining? Or does he really have a legal stance? Like, I feel like personally, I don't know, this is just in the concept of public opinion for me. He's going so hard in the paint on this. It's throwing a question mark in my mind as into why.
Before she answers, one of the things to keep in mind right now is that he's not suing Kendrick Lamar. He's only suing his label.
Because he feels like the label is pushing Kendrick Lamar more than he's pushing him, is what I would think in my head. And that because that label put all that money behind Kendrick Lamar has basically mutilated him. I mean, the last 2 years, no one's talking about Drake. They're talking about Kendrick. Well, okay, so go ahead, Attorney.
I think one of the interesting things about this dispute, and as relates to, Drake, is fine as he is, right? Even though he's acting like a punk, he can still call me and we can work it out. This is giving punk vibes. This is giving PAB vibes, right? But we can't say that on YouTube because in truth, what he's decided to do, instead of advocating for himself in music, he's converted this into a litigation war.
Right.
Query whether he's entitled to it because it hasn't gotten thrown out on a motion to dismiss. So these are valid claims. But I fear that Pretty Boy may have no career once it's all said and done, which is probably why he's fighting over his masters right now. Because how are you going to go out there and talk about how hard you are when what you decided to do was run to court because Kendrick beat you? Kendrick created—
That's what it feels like.
Culture movement, right? I was listening to somebody talk about this today. This Not Like Us is more than a song, right? Not Like Us is revealed at the Super Bowl on Sunday, created a culture movement. He tapped into something very powerful. And so one of the people today was saying that Drake probably should give up this whole payola argument, because if you see old people like in their 70s talking about they ain't like us, when you see my elementary school kids talking about they ain't like us, it's not because someone paid them to like it. It's because it's a great song. Drake should spend his time going into the studio and trying to come up with something else. Now, it's interesting, though. Maybe he's ready to retire. He's had enough famous girlfriends. He's had enough success. He realizes that he may be allegedly just like Motown used to create artists back in the 60s, and it was all about image. Maybe Drake was always just a studio rapper, and maybe he wasn't about that life, and he's about to fade to black, and he's trying to get some money on his way out. I'm not really sure, but this is the way that he's approached it is not historically how hip hop artists.
Right. Yeah, it's so interesting to me because I feel like you don't just become an international star and just step off the stage. It's not how it works. It's like that type of stardom is almost like a disease. It's almost like you have to have it. And you could tell how that's why he's in this legal battle, because he can't stand thinking about giving up his influence as the best in the industry. And obviously he's been shifted out of that position now, right? So I don't know that he's taking this legal battle on because he wants to retire. I definitely don't believe that.
But I don't think he's been shifted. Here's the problem. He lost fair and square.
Right.
The way to reclaim his position is by coming up with a bigger, badder diss track. Someone said he needs to remake "Hit 'Em Up" by Tupac, because that is the hardest diss track ever in the history of rap. Right? He can't talk about the same people, but he could come up with something that had the same beat and, talk about "Hit 'Em Up." I don't know if he could sell it though. I think Drake grew up in the suburbs.
I'm laughing because SL says call Tyler Perry. Oh my God, Bullheaded 2010 said Drake is a white man. That's all he's showing. They not like us. Takara Tucker said you can't beat a man writing his own rhymes. Epic fail for Drake. And Daphne said he started everything with Kendrick, and now all the melanin left his body, and he wants to move like a white woman. Oh my goodness, you guys are.
See, those comments say it all. What he gonna do? Like, no one's gonna believe he's the hardest man in the game. Like,
I know. I don't know what he's gonna do. All right. Speaking of not knowing what they're gonna do, I hate to hear this next celebrity in the court of public opinion. NBA star Anthony Edwards faces backlash after alleged Texas pressuring his ex to get an abortion surface. This raises critical questions about personal privacy, ethical boundaries, and the public's right to judge private matters. All right, Attorney Sean Carter, I want to hear it out of your mouth. Tell me about this privacy invasion and then defamation versus truth. Can Edwards sue if the texts are fake? And what are his defenses if they are real?
Well, sadly, he does not have any defenses or case here. Let me explain why, because it's for this reason. And let's be clear what happened. So what happens is that this woman claims that Anthony Edwards got her pregnant, which, by the way, is not the most unreasonable claim because of 3 other women claiming that within the same year period. So it's likely true. Okay. And so they're talking beforehand, and he says, get an abortion. And by the way, you should see his text. Go look him up. This is the most childish thing in the world. They're talking about a life, right? Bringing a life in the world. All of his texts have little emoji laughs and clown faces. He's a clown, all right? But she says, and then at one point, he says, look, she says, I'm sick of dealing with you. He says, fine, don't deal with me anymore. And I love what she says. He says, goodbye. She says, no. I'll talk to you later. In other words, I'm going to see you in court. Yep. And sure enough, she files in court. And here's what's funny is he meets her when she's in Georgia. She files a lawsuit in California. He said, wait a minute. What are you doing in California? I want Georgia law because Georgia's a little stingier with child support. She said, no. We moved to California. This is where it is now. We get that good 30% in California. And so she is in California.
Yeah, these ladies are getting smart. Who
Absolutely.
else did that? Who else did that? Who else? Tristan's baby mama did that, right? She lived in Texas, and in Texas, there's a cap of $2,500 in
there you go, right?
Like, she moved to California to
Absolutely.
Get that.
So she like the Beverly Hillbillies, like the Clampets, right? She's like, nope, move to Beverly, right? I'm gonna get this money. And then he's saying, well, hey, it ain't my baby, all right? And so to sort of prove her point, she says, look, you knew it was your baby because you wanted me to get an abortion. You didn't want me to get an abortion for somebody else's baby. You knew damn well this was your baby.
Oh, that's
why the text came out. They came out in the court case, and that's what protects her legally. See, if you had just put this up on the internet, we might be able to argue about defamation, et cetera. But there's what's called the litigation privilege, which says if you bring up information in a litigation case to prove your point, then none of these things matter anymore. So he's not going to be able to file for revenge porn, intentional disclosure, in the sense of now. Let me be clear here, Albert. It's important. Unless you're in court, this doesn't apply. So don't just be throwing up your text from everybody up on the internet like some of you do, because I'm on the internet too. Don't act like you don't do it. All right.
But here's the other thing. You don't get that privilege if those are and the court asks the question, are those fake texts? If they're fake and they're made up and you put them in the court record, not only you're going to get sanctioned by the court, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. The lawyer's going to get, everybody's going to get in trouble. The only thing is, you don't have that expectation of privacy when you put it into the court records.
Got it.
You don't get that.
Tiffany HR said he's probably braced like a donkey. What does that mean?
He hung. He's 6'4", 6'5". I get it. By the way, I'm 6'4", but that's beside the point. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Okay, Ocho.
Pregnant.
Abby NYC, the MM family said these girls and this baby mama hustle. The kids pay more for this messiness. I agree, but it seems like it's a hot business. And listen, these guys aren't stopping. They
Oh, no,
got babies
that's, by the way,
the
let's be
same.
clear. That is her business. All right. She already got a baby from Little Baby. So she got a Little Baby Junior. And now she's going to have a little auntie. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, if I walk by this woman in Walmart, I'm switching aisles. She ain't have my baby. I know that. That's all I do know. But
Okay.
She's in love.
Exactly.
Oh, please.
She's in
I don't
love
buy
with
that
what?
for 1 second.
What is
Yeah,
she in
like,
love with?
So let me ask you, attorneys, this: does Edwards have grounds to sue for invasion of privacy because she put it up on the internet, or did y'all
No.
explain?
No.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
think
She
so.
would if she put it up on the internet, but when she files it in the court filing, she's like, I didn't put it up on the internet. That's People Magazine and everybody else. She has the right to put it in, to submit that to the court. So fortunately for her, that's one issue she doesn't have to deal with.
So this is what I want to know from the algorithms, and this I swear, because now everybody's posting everything, pictures, text. You can't say hi. If you say hi, you trying to get in their pants. So let me ask the algorithms this: should private communications be fair game when assessing a celebrity's character?
Forget about a celebrity's character. When you are sending something to someone, if someone else were to read it, if you would be embarrassed or get in trouble, don't send it. Period. Or
But
use
these guys, you got to think about it, Jason. These guys, you got to think about it. These guys are like 22 years old and they make 40, 50, 60 million dollars a year.
Yeah.
Like this is like nothing for them.
They all have bullseyes on their head saying I'm a target and come after me. And if you want to do that, then great. Get a smart agent or a smart attorney and take 20% of your salary and put it away and call it my oops fund. So every time I have an oops, I can go ahead and pay off whoever it is and call it a day.
You know
what? Oops fund.
Create an insurance company, to tell you the truth, where these celebrities with big feet and are viral policies, and so they're like, I'm gonna oops at some point. We can invest the money, Jason. We could live off the interest.
Yep.
Attorney Turner.
Wait a minute. What about these?
Turner,
all right?
the big feet.
Think about these. All right, these don't cost 20% of your salary. All right? This is about $1 a piece.
They're condoms.
Yeah, exactly. What about these?
What,
by the way,
attorney,
I don't even want to know why you have those.
I gotta explain that part. Let me explain that part.
Hold on. We are going in the wrong direction. We're showing condoms on a court show. I'm done.
We're going in the wrong erection? What'd you say, Your Honor?
I'm talking about a different kind of insurance. I wanted to say one thing for the algoriters, though, because this came up.
Oh, my God.
Let's just say hypothetically, somebody was mad about something I said about them.
Wait. I'm sorry. I apologize. But the best thing, Tiffany HR, his wife wears a slip. Why you got those?
And I got to explain that so I can go back in this house. All right? I stole these from my 21-year-old son. All right? And I make him, by the way, I bought them too because I make him put these in his pocket when he go anywhere. All right? I mean, not to the club, to the church, to grandmama's house. I don't care where we going. He is putting these, he wearing one right now, just in case. All right?
You don't want no grandbabies.
I'm too young to be somebody's baby granddaddy. I ain't been nobody's baby granddaddy.
You said he got one on right. You send him out with condoms instead of a lunchbox.
If he going to take out the trash, he gonna have one of these on him somewhere.
Oh my gosh, this show is going to hell in a head.
I ain't coming and staying at your house no more.
Yeah, you better watch out, Attorney Weiss. I don't know what's going on over there.
I'm going to Pittsburgh. I'm hanging out with Attorney Turner.
I am done. All right.
But Your Honor, one quick thing I wanted to say, because I think the algoriters might be not make at this point, but the other point that Attorney Carter made when he was talking about the litigation privilege, right? Hypothetically speaking, I may have said some things about somebody that they believe weren't true. and they wanted me to promise to keep them a secret. Now, they were actually true. Let's just say we called her a philandering, adultering whore, right?
Hypothetically.
What she said she was going to do was to file a lawsuit preventing me from saying it. But as Attorney Carter indicates, once you file the lawsuit, it goes to litigation privilege. And so then it becomes a question of whether or not the statements are true. So for the algoriters, as they're in conversations with people and threatening with litigation, if it's something that they don't want amplified, because it could be a slow news day, and the newspaper could pick it up from the litigation, and now it's everywhere, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. So sometimes the best thing for you to do is just suck it up, swallow your feelings.
Not suck it up.
And don't file.
Swallow your feelings. Oh my God. What are we talking about? I thought we were supposed to be talking about the law on this show.
I wasn't even trying to have double entendre then, but I get it.
Oh, Professor Sagittarius says, this is exactly why I don't listen to y'all in the car anymore. A hot mess, and I'm here for all of it. Oh my God. Tiffany HR said, oh my God, the Carter household is happy chaos. You think? Oh God. Venetia Phillips says he had 3 kids in 1 year, but he got a living girlfriend, baby mama. This is a hustle for these girls. They making money having babies. I agree with that. Oh, sure. Precious Owusu said, Sean said better safe than sorry.
Too young to be a baby granddaddy.
But
Bill Benjamin said, club, church.
You missed something though, Al, since we're talking about sucking it up and swallowing.
Oh,
Wow.
There was somebody earlier who said, Al, I want you so bad. That was like at the beginning of the show.
you so messy. Oh my God, she's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Don't say linear. I want you so bad, Al.
But on the last thing on this story,
Okay.
I actually asked, I was curious as to
I bet you were.
as to what the NBA could do about this. All right.
Right.
We don't have lawsuits here, but because the NBA, his sponsors can definitely drop them. And the NBA actually has something called conduct detrimental to the league. And this, by the way, the second time that he has been caught on text trying to get some woman to end the
Have an
pregnancy.
abortion.
And so
This is not the time.
the sad thing is, in your company, any regular company, you might be penalized, but quite frankly, they couldn't field a team if they had to try to they only have people who didn't try to get baby mamas eliminated. So I'm not sure to be like 3 players in the league, so they're probably going to let this one go.
Okay, talking about baby mamas.
Who does he play for again?
Minnesota Timberwolves.
All right.
The other interesting part of this story we can talk about another time is that since the abortion laws have changed,
I know, right? That's what I was worried about too.
depends on where you live, because he could be engaging in criminal activity depending
Right.
on where he is when he's communicating.
And
That's
don't
true.
worry, he's going to get new sponsors from Trojan and Lifestyles. Are going to be like, you don't want to be an
No, he's
Edward?
not. No, he's not. He had 3 kids. In
No.
the last year.
They're not
That
even
means
going to
he's
use.
not using them.
Yeah, that's the worst commercial ever.
He's not gonna be. He's not
No. You don't want to be an Edwards. Use Trojan brand.
I'm done. I'm done. Okay, hold on. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Exactly. I
All
want my
right,
contract.
Rihanna's boyfriend, baby daddy, Rihanna the baby mama. ASAP Rocky declines to testify in his own defense during a high-profile shooting trial. This, to me, is huge. I can't wait to hear what Attorney Turner has to say about this. My main question is this a strategic legal move, or will silence speak louder than words in the court of public opinion? So talk to me, Attorney Turner, about the Fifth Amendment rights, the burden of proof, and what does this really mean? Because I got to be honest, when I found out that he was not testifying, I thought it was a good idea.
So it depends, right? So you're right. The Fifth Amendment is the rule that gives you the right to not incriminate yourself, right? And so that's why people are always on soap operas and stuff. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. You know, if my 7-year-old knew about that, he'd be saying that because I'm always wondering why there are crumbs everywhere. And he just like, I don't know. But if he knew I plead the fifth, he would say it. The question you ask, though, gets at the heart of this show, actually, right? Because the reason that you name this show Celebrity Court and you assess the algoriters for the court of public opinion is because you recognize that jurors are people. And so even though all jurors get the instruction from the judge that they should not read anything into someone not testifying in their own trial because it's their constitutional right, does that influence what they think about the defendant? You know, does that plant a seed of doubt in their mind? Do they think if I weren't guilty, I would stand up and tell everybody? You know, a lot of times people assume that that's what jurors will think. If they testify to that, you can get a mistrial. But what did we find out about OJ? Right? Some things are more powerful than words. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. So really the issue for ASAP Rocky is what level of confidence does he have in the rest of his defense, and have his lawyers proven the case and his testimony is unnecessary?
All right, Attorney Carter, what are your thoughts on this?
Attorney Turner said
do you think Rocky's silence hurts his case?
Not necessarily, because you only testify if there's a reason to. If you have some evidence that needs to be introduced by you for your defense, and one of the witnesses already said that the gun, which is the only thing that's really matter here, it was a starter pistol. And so once that person said that, there's no need for Rocky to come in and say it too. And what you want to avoid is having the prosecutor, who I hear in this case, a real tough guy, right? Bring it to the ringer. And if I'm hitting the prosecutor, I'm prosecuting for hours. Here's my first question: how the hell you get Rihanna? Right? That's my second question. My third question.
Today.
We'd have spent 3 days just on how you got Rihanna. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You would have pissed him off real good.
Exactly, right? Then he wore him down. He'd want to go to jail rather than deal with me. But the point is like, you know, you really don't want him to testify unless you have to, because he has to introduce some key evidence. If you can get some other witnesses to do that, like they did here, you're good.
And again,
Attorney Weiss, if you were his attorney right now, would you be telling him not to testify or to testify?
I think I agree with the not testify. Look, the court of public opinion is one thing, but you know, your freedom is more important. So look, he can rehab himself. He could look good in the public eye. He'll go out with Rihanna and their kids a couple of times and everybody will forget about it and all of this. And as long as he's got the freedom, but I would not want this guy, meaning the prosecutor, who I think had somebody on the witness stand for 9 days and then they convicted him. I don't think ASAP Rocky would last. I think he would fold under pressure. And even though he probably had a prop gun and probably had all this, I think he's going to say something and that's it.
Yeah. And you saw how he had that outburst.
Yeah.
And that outburst was like a knee jerk. Like you could tell that young man would not do well on the stand. There would be some aggressive prosecutor that just start drilling him, and something is going to pop out his mouth.
Well, look,
when I saw that, I knew 110% there's no way as his attorney that I would allow him on that stand.
And the other thing is, I mean, the attorney must feel that, you know, the case that the prosecution put on was weak, and you don't need to. The only thing that Rocky could have done is weaken their case where it probably doesn't have to be, or made their case better. So look, not having him testify and all of that, for all we know, they're negotiating a settlement agreement right now.
That's what I'm thinking. Because he's got a $1 billion girlfriend, right? with a brand that has to come first and has to be protected at all costs. He has 2 kids, probably a third going to be on the way very shortly, especially after this trial. He owes her big time, and I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna have a 3rd child, but she's gonna be pregnant by the end of the year.
Well, they need these in. That's what they need. But anyway.
They need
No, they're not taking out the trash. It's okay.
They ain't going to grandmama's house, right?
I can tell you one thing, Brianna's not wearing no slip. But anyway, all right, everybody, be sure to hit that like button, please. The likes aren't liking, but we see that you all are coming on in here. Come on in. What a night tonight. All the lawyers are showing up.
After the trial, maybe they'll go from that courtroom into another courtroom, get married for the judge, and he'll, dip her, and it'll be a big romantic.
Oh, gosh, Attorney Turner.
They're going to have a church on
Be sure to hit
Thanksgiving.
that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit the share button and invite some friends over. Don't forget to turn on your notifications because this Friday we're having a special edition of Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We're going to have Simone Redwine with former FBI agent and now lawyer Quentin Williams will be joining us Friday to break down all the things Diddy, from the Cassie case all the way to the new accusations from a young man who said it only happened 2 years ago. Also, we love how you get down into the comments. And speaking of comments, we're going to rotate to the last story of the evening. Young Thug, yep, you heard me right. Young Thug's rap lyrics are being used as evidence in a criminal trial. This is sparking legislation that could change how art intersects with the law. Is this a threat to artistic freedom, or is this a legitimate tool for prosecutors? All right, Attorney Sean Carter, take it away. Now, this is what I want to know, because if it was me, I would be putting my First Amendment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus criminal evidence. I thought that we all knew that a lot of what these rappers talk about is make-believe. It's not as bad as they make it appear based on their perception.
Well, no, absolutely. And, just so we're clear, in the Young Thug case, they tried to use the lyrics he had, and the lyrics was, "I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body." And they said, "Hey, this shows he's gang affiliated. He's somehow involved with this." And he said, "Wait a minute, it's just a rap song." And so what Georgia did, and by the way, a few of the states have already done this, New York, California, etc., have said, look, from now on, unless it's very specific, right? I shot so-and-so in the head in front of 38th Street Baptist Church at 28 a.m. at 2:30 in the morning. We're not going to allow it to be admissible because, and this always should have been the case, evidence is relevant. That could be admissible, but it also has to be not more prejudicial than probative. In other words, what it means is, even if the evidence is relevant, if it would tend to be more prejudicial, to create an impact that is disproportionate to its relative value, then no, we should not admit it. So to give you an example, and we've seen this in other cases, if you're the kind of person, Kanye, perfect example is, Kanye says horrible things all the time. If he were accused of shoplifting, we wouldn't admit evidence of his, all of his horrible things he says, because it's not relevant to whether he did the shoplifting, but it would put him in a bad light and make people want to convict him. Right. And so the idea is that they're saying, we want to make this in law now. We're going to set it up so that before you can admit this evidence, we have a different standard that makes it even harder for you to admit. And so, for instance, under this standard, I was sort of looking at it. I said, okay, what about if I were to say I'm down with the 9-9 posse? Can you admit that as evidence? Currently, you can in Georgia. And if the 9-9 posse has been committing some crimes, you possibly could get that into a court. But the idea is that when you say you're down with them, what does that mean? Does that mean that you actually commit crimes with them?
With them, yeah, okay.
Or you don't like them. We're not even going to admit that. You're down with them, right?
Exactly.
What about Bob Marley? What about Bob Marley? I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
Right. Now, that actually might count if the sheriff gets shot. Bob probably got off light. But you understand that the idea is that we don't want to criminalize rap lyrics in and of themselves. Now, here's the worst part is, if there's other evidence, like we find in shell cases, we find the other stuff, we still gonna get you. All right. We're just not gonna get you on the basis of your ringtone.
Got it.
But here's the interesting thing, right? This is kind of the opposite of the whole Drake problem. where we were saying that Drake was studio created and soft. These other artists are trying to prove to the world that they're hard and they're about that life and their lyrics represent what they do.
Okay, hold that right there. Put the picture of Young Thug up and tell me if this says hard.
No, more like hardly. Hardly.
I don't know what's going on there. That says a whole lot. A whole lot.
Okay, go ahead, Attorney Turner.
But,
He down with something.
But they are. I mean, this goes back to like the Tupac and Biggie battle that we were talking about before. But you know, they both got murdered. So sometimes it can go too hard and be too real. But in this case, the artists are saying, hey, I rap about these things, but it's not really who I am. And as Attorney Carter was just saying before, once you have the litigation privilege, everybody can know that. And so, you know, what's more important, your brand or your liberty? Right?
So should Young Thug just suck it up
and swallow his skin? Might be doing a lot of that in jail, but
oh boy, what a night! All right, everybody, this is a part of the evening.
That picture does look like he just did, didn't it?
Yep.
Hold on, guys. All right,
that picture spoke 1,000 words.
Where we go to the algoriters and we decide, along with the lawyers, if they're guilty or not guilty for the charges that are brought against them. First up, as always, Diddy. Okay, is this case quirky due to the law's retroactive nature? Is he guilty or not guilty in the court of public opinion? Attorney Turner, what say you?
I think that Diddy has probably ridden his last wave of goodwill in the court of public opinion. It's going to be really hard for them to find a jury. Guilty.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
He's putting it right there. The big L on the screen. He lost. He did it.
Oh wow, Attorney Turner Carter.
Oh no, absolutely. We're 3 or 4 lawsuits past that. He is not getting the benefit of the doubt anywhere. Not SNAP benefits. Not. I'm
taking those away anyway. So. All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in the court, Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and I got to tell you, this particular case is really making it hard to find any light at the end of this tunnel for Diddy. I think it's because it only happened 2 years ago, and I also think it's almost as damaging as that Cassie video if proven true. In my mind, it's a minor. You're 50-something years old, 17 to 54. What is that? You're old. Oh my God, he's old enough possibly to be the kid's grandfather. But anyway, I'm gonna find him guilty in court of public opinion. We're gonna find him guilty. All right, Drake, is Drake guilty or not guilty of being a crybaby? Attorney Turner.
I mean, Drake is guilty of being fine. But yeah, come on, baby. Just come over back to the light. Come up with some hard lyrics. He's guilty of being a crybaby, and I hope he finds a tissue.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
I agree, and I think he just needs to be in the arms of somebody loving like the fiery Attorney Turner. So that's the light he needs to find.
Attorney Carter.
Oh no, he's definitely guilty. By the way, in addition to suing the record label, Kendrick Lamar, Serena Williams for doing the Crip Walk, you realize he was also part of this problem is he was giving away the music. He was putting the music unreleased songs up on this website, this weird website, 100 gigs, whatever. They had to shut him down. And he's having a whole ass tantrum. Is what he's doing.
All right. Death God says Drake needs a diaper change. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here. And we're going to find Drake, especially in the court of public opinion. He is looking guilty. Guilty is charged for being a crybaby. Next up, Anthony Edwards. Is Anthony Edwards guilty or not guilty of putting too much of his business in a text? Attorney Turner.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards, he needs to be coached about what he should put in text and what he should say on the phone.
Right. Attorney Weiss.
guilty of not thinking with his head
Right
and
head.
thinking with the other brain.
That one got a brain.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Attorney Carter.
Oh yeah, and Attorney Turner said it best. All right, if you're gonna say something ratchet, all right, like telling a woman to get an abortion, do it on the phone. All right, so we don't have a record of it because that's just ignorant.
I think that's the lesson for all the algoritmors now. Understand, especially if you make this type of money, everything you text is going to be exposed. So you might as well in your mind say, whatever I put in a text, it's going to be seen by the world. All right, we're going to find Anthony Edwards guilty of just not being smart. First of all, 3 kids in 1 year. Put a condom on it. Attorney Carter, let's see those condoms, please.
In case he doesn't know what they are.
I don't think they know.
You really don't
I
know?
don't know. I don't even think they know where to get them. All right, next up is ASAP Rocky. Is ASAP Rocky guilty or not guilty for making the decision? Does it make him look guilty or not guilty for not being on the stand? Attorney Turner,
Does it make him look guilty or
in
not
the
guilty?
court of public opinion.
Okay. I think it makes him look a little guilty.
Yeah, I agree. Attorney Weiss.
In the court of public opinion, I think it makes him look guilty, but in a court of law, I still think it's the right call.
Attorney Carter.
I couldn't say it better than Attorney Weiss. And remember, he don't care about the court of public opinion. He's trying to avoid going to prison.
Yeah.
And remember, in 5 years, he's gonna be doing T-Mobile commercials just like Snoop. Remember, Snoop had the same thing. He didn't testify and got off, and we forgot all about it.
Murder
All
was the case that they gave him, right?
Right. All right.
Just not in Atlanta.
The Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find him guilty in the Court of Public Opinion, but we're going to find him not guilty in the court of law right now. I think it's a brilliant thing for him to do, not to testify. Last up, Young Thug. Young Thug, is he guilty or not guilty of being what he said for doing what he said he did in his rap lyrics? Attorney Turner.
Young Thug confuses me. I don't know. Is he about that life or he's not about that life? Yeah, I don't even know. That's the same person in the other picture anyway.
Let's see the other picture. What in the world?
That ain't the same person.
Yeah. That one with the like glasses on, he ain't hard. He ain't about that. Yeah, he's guilty of lying in his lyrics.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
I'm guilty of being confused as hell.
Attorney Carter.
I'm stealing mine from one of our favorites, Daniel Cameron said, Young Thug is guilty of stealing his grandmother's outfit.
I gotta tell you what, this is funny. I tell you what, he's guilty of showing up to court looking a hot mess. He should have shown up to court looking like that, and I would never believe any of his lyrics.
Good point.
That should have been him looking like that. Should have been the ploy for the defense team, because if he showed up looking like that, there's no way he could have convinced a jury that he was about that life. So we're going to find him guilty for showing up to court looking like he would be about that life when he should have been like that. That's what I'm going to say right there. All right, everybody. Tonight's cases forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. Justice isn't always about what you can prove. Sometimes it's about what people believe. From Diddy's allegation to Drake's fight for creative ownership, from personal privacy breaches to the complexities of artistic freedom, we see how the law intersects with fame in ways that affects us all. So I leave with you this. Is justice truly blind, or does the glare of celebrity distort its vision? Thank you for joining us tonight on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Until next time, court is adjourned.